Hey guys, so this is just a little guide on how I usually get my 15 to 16 permits per trip at Tempoross. The main purpose for this video is just due to the fact that my clan members had been wondering how I've been managing to pull these 16 permits per trip while on a solo. This is using the humidify method, so please make sure you've done the proper quests and you have a room pouch so you can proceed with this method. So as you can see my inventory, I've got a hammer, I've got 7 buckets, as well as a room pouch full of the proper runes to cast my humidify. There is no rope in my inventory because I've got the recolored angler outfit, so I don't have to worry about that. So as you can see, I'm just fishing for a full inventory of fish as I go, and you'll see here shortly, once I start to cook this inventory, I will get my first set of specials, which will be the water wave always. And there we go, there's the waters. So you're going to want to obviously tie yourself up as usual so you're not going to lose any fish or buckets of water that's in your inventory. And then you're just going to go back to cooking. Sweet, so as you're cooking, you're going to want to make sure you cook all the fish in your inventory just to save some time, but also it gives the fire wave a chance to actually spawn on time, which you'll see here shortly as I finish up this last fish. They'll start to spawn. There we go. And then you're going to just want to run up, get rid of any fire spawns that are in your way as well, because you don't want to mess up. So there we go. And you're going to dump 17 out of the 19 fish first. This is just to make sure that Tempoross is below 10%. The reason behind this is basically if you're keeping him at 10% or below, it just means you're not going to get any more of these specials, which is either water waves or your fire wave. Obviously, if there is lightning coming your way, you're going to want to move because it could screw you over if you do it too late. And then you're going to run back down, get rid of any fires that are in your way, and you're just going to continue fishing another full inventory, which you will be cooking as well. Cool. During this time, you'll see the fire spreading. Obviously, you're going to want to make sure to get rid of any that are too close to you or any that are in your path. If you can, do so safely. Just run around them as you can see me doing. And this is just me trying to force spawn the double spawn once more, just to keep my inventory going, which, there we go. Cool, so what you want to do here is just cook the full inventory. You want to also keep an eye on the energy as well, just because sometimes if you do let it go up too high, you've just ruined the whole run. So that's going to be your main focus, is making sure you're not standing in any fires, making sure you've got a full inventory of cooked fish, as well as not letting it get too high up. So with this inventory, instead of dumping 17 again, you're going to want to dump all 19. And while Tempoross goes down, you're going to want to just continue dumping it all. Cool. And then as you run down, dispose of, well, extinguish any fires that are in your way. And then you're wanting to just go ahead and attack the pool a little bit, just to help get it down. The reasoning behind this is it just makes it a little bit easier for you in the end when it comes to actually attacking the pool and ending the game. During this phase, you can actually get rid of some of these fires because they will just start to become quite annoying. They'll get in your way a couple of times, so always remember to cast that humidify as well. Got to keep things nice and wet. Cool. Cool. So once again, you're just going to want to finish cooking all 19 fish that you've just fished up. And instead of immediately going ahead and dumping, you're actually wanting to start extinguishing the fires that are around you. The reasoning behind this is it kind of just gives you more points. You don't run out of time during the last phase. And it's also just so you don't run into any fires once you're getting things done. So as you can see here, I'm kind of going around, moving towards the middle of the island while putting them out. Through putting out the ones that you can see me putting out right now, it kind of allowed the fire to re-spread to where I just put out, which led to me being able to actually get more points during the solo trip, which is kind of interesting. So we'll just keep putting these out. So we also do have to remember that with putting up certain fire spots, some of them will no longer spread even if the timer is actually on top of them. They actually stop spreading. So you kind of want to do this just because there will be fires that still want to spread. And then looking at the percentage of when Tempoross will get angry, you're going to want to go back and dump that full inventory, because this is where the fun will begin. So it's just me wasting more time trying to let more fires spread out before I actually go back down. And once again, once you finish dumping all 19 of those fish, you're going to want to go ahead and attack. I tend to play safe and just get its energy or its health down to like 60 to 50%, as it just kind of gives me that assurance of like not screwing up in any way. Sorry about that. So once you grab a full inventory of buckets, you're going to dispose of one and actually fish one more fish, and you're going to go ahead and cook it. This will be the last fish you actually need in order to end this game. So once again, fill up your buckets with humidify and go ahead and just start extinguishing all the fires. So your fires will actually be your main source of points. You get 40 points per fire extinguished. Some of you may prefer the mass roll method, sorry. I honestly prefer the solo method just because time-wise it took me 6 minutes in the master roll in order to get like 3 to 5 points. Where if I'm soloing, my games take 12 to 30 minutes, or 13 minutes I should say, and I tend to get 14 to now 17 points, which is really cool. So I just find it more worthy point-wise per hour. So remember to just consistently keep an eye on the little white bar on the top left, as you're going to want to make sure that doesn't get too high up, because if it does, you've kind of just got to rush back over to the side of the boat and cannon your last fish. Always remember to make sure that your pathing is correct, because sometimes you can run into fires if you're clicking different ones, and it could kind of just ruin your trip also, because it just means you have to fish another fish. Don't worry about the buckets you lose. If you do run into the issue of losing the last fish, however, you're going to want to fish 1 to 2 fish. You can usually jump 2 raw fish and it will end the game. I, however, don't actually trust that. I usually just go for the one, cook it, and it tends to just work perfectly every time I do this method. You're going to want to always make sure that you click on a towel before filling up your buckets as well, just because humidify will stall your character's movements. But as you can see, just continue to finish up your fires. Sometimes you won't get lucky in time, and there will be some fires you miss out on. Sometimes you get lucky, as I did in this run. But yeah, last fish, Tempoross will go down, and now you just end the game. This trip actually ended up being a new personal best for me. Instead of the usual 15 to 16 points I was getting, I actually managed to pull 17 permit points, which was actually quite neat. I've been trying to figure out what the capped points are, so it's quite cool to see it actually not be capped at 16. It kind of makes it more fun, as well as just more of a challenge for me to try and figure out what the capped points are at. And there you go. That's how you get efficient points at Tempoross. Hope you enjoyed my guide.